Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Stage Diving with Scotty. That's my name, right?
I think so.
I blinked out for a second. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's my name. Um, and today, my guest is, I hope I say your last name right, Alex Tasker.
Correct. Very
All
good.
right, from the
Very good.
band PS Lookdown. Welcome to my show, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for being here. It's been a while since I've been introduced from that band. We haven't really done much, or that kind of. You know, it's been a while. That phase of our band is a little bit past. Currently producing music and stuff, but it's nice to remember some of the good times that we've had with that band.
So wait, are you actually still together, or just you're just kind of on hiatus, or what?
We are basically, I don't know how I want to delicately phrase this. We are no longer practicing recording music, anything like that. It's not a vicious breakup, but we have all just kind of grown as humans and musically, and so we're no longer creating music and stuff. But we're still good friends. Like there's no viciousness between the band. It was just kind of the pandemic kind of did us in
Oh,
sort of
really?
thing. Yeah, yeah. We it was tough with the pandemic to rehearse. We originally rehearsed in our drummer's duplex in his garage. The neighbors were great, and I lived there for
Oh,
a little
good.
while. We did, I think we started late 2016, and we went through 2020, and we had just played like Ace of Spades downtown Sacramento, so some big venues.
Nice,
And
nice.
then and the pandemic hit. We had a couple more lined up. We were going to play down in Stockton. I had a buddy who booked for like concerts in the park, so he was going to try to get us some gigs around the area. And then pandemic hit, the world kind of shuts down. We had one offer to play a park down in Stockton, like outside, but we just were like, it doesn't feel right to try to get people to come out because this was like right at the peak of everything
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the first
that's
wave.
understandable. Yeah.
And then we played a couple other gigs after everything had kind of opened back up. Both of them were outside. One of them was a car show, which actually was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Because most of the people are like a little bit older for the car show. They got all these 40s and 50s, and we're out there like covering the Offspring. Um, but we played that, and then we just kind of grew apart. We never really rehearsed. The duplex that we were rehearsed. The duplex we rehearsed at and seen. Um, the duplex we rehearsed at, they sold. And then we were practicing at my buddy's house downtown, but it was just hard to get everybody together, and we all kind of looked at each other. It was like, yeah, this might be time, and we kind of split it up. So there's no ill will. We had a good time.
Okay.
Um, I'm still, in close contact with my guitarist Dan. He actually built me. I don't know if you can kind of see it over here. It's this yellow case. He built me a bass guitar,
Oh,
and it's
really?
modeled after Mark Hoppus's guitar from Blink 182. I think I have a picture
Nice.
here. So he
Oh,
drew it up,
nice.
and he built it by hand, but he ordered all the parts and he modeled it, built it for me, and it's a really touching gift for my birthday this year. But yeah, we still,
Wow.
yeah, yeah,
That's pretty
we
impressive.
no, he's a wizard when it comes to just guitar work, manufacturing. He's just incredible, um, engineering sort of stuff. But he and I we still jam here and there. We just don't have a drummer right now, and if we did do anything, musically where we wanted to create a group, it wouldn't be the same as what we did.
Yeah.
Just that phase of music is leave it what it was.
What was the spark, whether it be a band or a venue or something like a live show? What was it that kind of like, okay, I want to do this. I want to play
So
music.
I've always there was three things I wanted to do when I was growing up. I wanted to be a race car driver, and I'm too big to fit in the car. I wanted to be a baseball player, but I couldn't see a curveball. Like I could never hit a curveball. So, and a rock star. Well, I mean, which kid doesn't want to be a rock star, race car driver, astronaut, fire, whatever.
Yeah.
So, and it was always just him, and I just had love for the classics. The AC/DCs, Queen, Led Zeppelin turned into the Beatles, Metallica, and it's an ever expanding library of people that I just adore.
Yeah.
But in high school, it was the Green Days, Offspring, Sum 41, Blink 182 was the big one.
Yeah.
And I actually met he's my best friend, but he was also the guitarist in my band. His name's Dan, and we met in church youth group.
Oh, okay.
And we had the same sort of music style, same sort of like love of rock music that way. And he and I had gone to see Blink 182 in 2012 on the Honda Civic tour. I remember exactly who played. It was My Chemical Romance, Blink 182. I think was it Dan and Shay? Either it was, but Blink was the big one, and it was awesome. And then that was the year we graduated high school. So we go through college. He went to San Luis Obispo. I stayed up in Sacramento. We didn't really get to see each other too often, but when we did, was always like, "Have you listened to this? Have you listened to that?" 26. We were actually talking about this at my day job at the radio station I work at. I was talking with this other guy who's a big punk rocker, and he goes, "Hey, did you go see Blink 182 in Mountain View 2016?" I said, "Absolutely." I actually met up with my buddy Dan, who had come up from San Luis Obispo, and I had always wanted to just. He played six string, and he tried to teach me how to play guitar, but my hands were just too big for some of the chords
Yeah, yeah.
on a six string. So he handed me this cherry red Fender bass guitar, and it just kind of magically fit. Like I
Yeah.
just all of a sudden music clicked and it opened up for me. I mean, it's Blink 182. It's four chords, so
Yeah.
I mean, I love them. I have it tattooed on me, but so the world opened up and we went to the show. We got hammered. Um, but I'd always just thought about like, why don't we make music? Why don't we do this?
Yeah.
And I talked with him after the show, after we'd sobered up. But I talked with him and I was like, man, I've had this idea floating in my head, and I know you're almost done with school. When you come back to Sacramento, why don't we do this? Why don't we create a band?
Mm.
And we had kind of molded about in high school. Our sophomore year, it was us two and then a couple other guys from high school that we just kind of dinked around on instruments, and we never really recorded anything, but we had some ideas, and we came up with a name. The name was PS Lookdown. And I said, let's do it for real. Let's give it an honest to God shot. Let's record an album. I don't care if we play for 3 people. I don't care if we play for 3,000 people. I don't care if we don't play at all. Just to say we did.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hold nothing back, just for the love of music and making music, to say we did.
Yeah.
And I thought he was going to be like, yeah, well, I'm going to come back. I'm going to be working. He was all on board. He was like, yeah, let's do it. So it was just he and we started writing something, just like a little 3 or 4 songs in my garage at the time. And I was waiting tables, and I was just talking about it with a coworker, and a different coworker over here goes, "Hey, are you guys looking for a drummer?" I said, "Well, we actually happen to." She goes, "Well, my boyfriend drums." All right. So we met up with him one day, and it was like one of this, like, into the great wide open. What's going to happen?
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
stepped in, and I think we played like Seven Nation Army, or like some like 4-chord song that we like everybody knew.
Yeah.
And it just kind of clicked from there, and the rest was history.
Well, was the click just because you guys were playing a familiar song together, or did you actually feel that energy of like, yeah, we can do this, like we can create our own? You know what I'm saying?
It was the first time it had clicked with a drummer, because
Okay.
Dan and I had always clicked musically with he and I, because we had that sort of and we still do have that sort of just companionship, that I know where he's going to go with the
Yeah.
song,
Yeah.
and he know where. But we never played with well, we had the drummer when we dinked around in high school, but it was never really a mesh. And there was that moment when we're playing, like, okay, and he's going to hit the snare here, transition into this part of the song,
Hmm.
and it just fit, and it just worked. And it wasn't like an audition, but we were like, all right, same time next Wednesday, and we're like, oh well, we're going to write some music, and we just kind of went along from there. And then it was, okay, well, we're playing music, we should play some gigs, we
Yeah.
have some songs, what are we going to call ourselves? And I'm like, well, we actually thought of this name, and we thought about changing it, but we stuck with PS Lookdown.
So is PS Lookdown? Is it? I'm
Is it a genitals
a
joke?
rocker. What?
Is it a joke about genitals? No.
No, no, that didn't even cross my mind.
Okay.
No, I might be misquoting it. But it's PS. So is it from Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure?
It is not, but that is not the first time I've heard that. No.
Oh wait, there's this PS Duck. That's what it is. Okay, I'm
Yes.
sorry. That's what it is.
Again, that's not the first time I've heard that. The origin of the name comes from high school, when we were jamming our sophomore year of high school, about 2010, and we were joking about, like, what are we going to call ourselves? And we had mulled a couple ideas. I remember one of them being like Flip Side B. We wanted like a
Oh,
three-part name.
okay.
Um, and our friend Hannah actually was going to travel to Mexico. Her family had a timeshare down there, and she was writing a letter to a friend who went to a different school. And she goes, "Hey, can you just proofread this for me real quick?" And so we're looking at it, and it was like, love you, can't wait to be in Mexico. P.S. Look down. There are scorpions on the beach, and I know you like to walk barefoot down there. And so it made me chuckle. So I'm telling the story at rehearsal later that night, and it was like, "Oh, P.S. Look down, ha ha ha!" And we all kind of laughed about it, and they were like, "P.S. Look," and it just kind of clicked in
Yeah, yeah,
everybody's head at the time. And so we never did anything with it, but the name just kind of stuck around.
yeah.
And so we drew up like fake like logos of it. We had like a penguin with like a mohawk on, and it was just like this. It was just wacky, but we had that was how the name came around.
Okay, so when you guys recorded, um, did you? So is that the what is it called? Is that the maiden voyage? Is it maiden voyage?
Maiden Voyage, yeah.
Okay.
So there's a reason it was called that. So we started writing all these songs, and we actually have a like a 5-song demo on SoundCloud somewhere called Dollar Menu Delights, because and it's those same 5 songs are recorded on Maiden Voyage, but we
Okay.
called them Dollar Menu Delights because we would write them in this garage, and then I mean we'd spend hours in there, and then we would go and get some food because we're hungry, and we'd go to McDonald's and we'd order off the dollar menu. So when it came time to record the demo tape, for better or worse, whatever you want to call it, the SoundCloud stuff, we recorded through Dan's laptop on a little 4-bar mixer, and just wired everything in this garage. It was like 116 degrees inside that garage in the middle of the summer in the valley. And we had like 2 circulating
Oh,
fans, but we turned them off for the sake of the
for the
recording.
yeah,
So
yeah.
we're in there just dripping and trying to record things, and we're getting mad at each other for not doing things in one take.
Oh my
um,
gosh.
but it was a span of a couple days, and it was just like anything that could go wrong fucking did go wrong. My brakes went out on my car because like they melted, they were too hot.
Oh
It was
my.
just one of those things. Like the fridge went out, so we didn't have ice anymore, we had like warm drinks. It was just one of those things. There's actually one, our song River City, at the end you hear Dan, it was like just left in recording, you hear him screaming, "I can't do this anymore, fuck!" Like just super loud.
Thank you, River City! I can't do this anymore!
And I love it to this day, and it's just this high pitched like just scream, and it makes me laugh every time. So Dollar Menu Delights, we make that, we played a couple shows, and then we were writing more songs, but Dan went to go finish his collegiate degree overseas. He went to Slovenia.
Oh
It was
wow.
a music theory. uh it was like a live-in program, and it was going to be gone for 9 months.
Oh
And
wow. Goodness.
which, for a band, that's a lot of time.
Oh goodness gracious. Yeah.
It's 9 months away, and we're at this point where like, well, we were playing shows and we're writing this music. We kind of need you around, and we never thought about replacing it. It was never one of those like, well, just get someone else. um so we wrote songs when we're 6,000 miles apart.
Mhm.
So Dan used WhatsApp, and he would send me little clips of stuff that he made on like an acoustic guitar,
Okay.
and he would like type out like the chord progressions and stuff for us, and we'd see that and go, "Oh, that's pretty cool." So then, because I was living with our drummer Cody, I should probably mention his name, Cody. I was living with Cody in the duplex at the time, and so it was easy for us, like, "Hey, so here's the chord progression," and he would put like a recording, we'd listen to it, and then we would try to match it. So then we would record it on our phone, we'd send it back, and we'd kind of mix it together.
Okay.
And we're writing these songs like 6,000 miles apart. Cody would write a couple things, Dan would write his own stuff, I would write a couple songs, and we ended up making, I want to say like 12, 13 songs as
Oh
we were
wow.
apart from each other. Dan comes back. We're super stoked to see him. Um, we start like really rehearsing them together. It came time to record, and when we were naming the album, we we wanted to go with Maiden Voyage because we were like, PS Lookdown. For some reason, Cody had this like little hand puppet that looked like a pirate.
Okay.
And we called it Patchy, but then we called it Private Salty, and then we were like PS Lookdown, PSLD. We were like Private Salty's Little Dinghy. We were coming up with like the original idea was we were going to name every album a different acronym,
Oh
like
no.
Party Sized Linguiça Dinner is going to be the three of us dressed as sausages. Pretty Swole Looking Dudes, it's going to be us in the gym. So the cover is of a ship, and Made in Voyage was like, it's our first go at making an album, but it was also made in Voyage while Dan was on his voyage. So it's a double entendre of sorts.
That's cool, actually. I like that a lot.
It's just like super, like, I mean, it's just crappy punk rock is the best I love it, and that's why I call it crappy punk rock. But you know, we threw our hearts into it,
Yeah.
and that I think I'm my own biggest critic with everything I do.
Yes.
I was listening to it the other day, and I hadn't listened to it in a year. I just like I've heard these songs, I've played these songs. I don't want to play these songs anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear these songs anymore. And because I'm the singer, I just don't want to hear my voice, which is ironic considering what I do for work. But I didn't want to hear it. And the other day, the opening track came on, which is 1983.
Yep.
And I think that's our strongest track on the album. And I heard it, and it just kind of brought a smile to my face. And I listened again, and I played it a third time through, and I'm just like really proud of it. And I was leaving work, and I listened to it all the way through. I was like, man, we really threw our whole heart into it.
Yeah.
And no matter whether you liked it or you didn't like it, whether it was good or bad, like that was the reason we started the band up, to say we did.
Yeah.
And it brought us to, you know, like Ace of Spades. It brought us to Holy Diver before it shut down. We played some bars in San Jose and Stockton. We kind of covered Northern California, and it was you know, just a wild experience.
What did you get to play with any particular bands that kind of stood out? That maybe, even if it's just local bands, or
As far as known, I mean, it depends on what your knowledge is of known, because I know people who are super into local scenes and know the guys, you know, personally, and they play with these guys. Big thanks to the guys in Danger Inc., the guys and gal in Danger Inc. They a punk band. They rip. They're kind of in the nerd punk sort of
Okay.
stuff, but
Yeah.
I worked with their bassist Danny, and they were great just to us. They, you know, never shoot us away for trying to just ask as many questions about, you know, what's your recording process.
Yeah.
You know, they released an album, and we went to their premiere, and then when it came time, like our first show, we played at a FIFA tournament
Oh, really?
at the Cafe Colonial in Sacramento, and there might have been 15, 20 people there, but we asked, like, hey, do you guys want some set time? You guys can go on. And there may have been like 20 people in there, like I said, and they didn't get paid, but they were super gracious. They came out and played like a 45-minute set. They were super good.
I love that.
I love them to death. I mean, I haven't talked to them in a while, obviously, but it's like if they were to come out and release something or play tomorrow night, I'd go see them immediately.
Are they still around?
I don't know if they've done much. They actually, this was when Green Day's Dookie turned 25 years old, so you know, before 2019. But they went and played down at Gilman.
Don't say
Berkeley.
that. So you're making me feel really old.
Listen, it's my favorite album too, but it came out in 1994, so it would have been
94.
It was 94. Yeah.
Crap.
I was born in 94. Do you want me to make you feel older?
No, please stop.
Okay. 28. Yes. Wow. No, it was 3 years ago. They did a tribute show at 924 Gilman. They had 15 different bands playing the 15 different tracks on Dookie.
Really?
And each one of them covered it in their own style.
Oh, wow.
And you know, a lot of them, you know, punked it up. But they did all 15. So each band played like 3 songs, and then they switched the set. So it was like a 5-hour show. Wow. But we went down with them, and it was just such a fun show. The place was packed out.
Oh, I bet.
But they were good. The other, I would say, big band, we played Ace of Spades. We opened for In the End, which is the tribute band for Linkin Park.
Okay. I have heard of that. Okay.
And when Chester, you know, tragically took his life, they played the tribute to Chester show down in LA. and Shinoda was kind of, he didn't say it exactly, but he kind of inferred like, hey, if you ever want to see Linkin Park again, these are the guys to do it because they do it justice. And they
Wow.
aren't up there dressed like the guys or doing their mannerisms. The one guitarist does wear, headphones like the guy from Linkin Park. I will laugh at that. But it's more of like an homage. We do these songs for them. And the lead singer of that group, Chris, again, super, super great guy, super talented, but he remembered, like, they play, they'll do 8-9 shows at a time, just one area. They'll hit SoCal all the time.
Wow.
They come up to NorCal and they remembered us, and we've opened for them twice. But they draw a large crowd, and so like Ace of Spades is sold out for a show we're playing, and we weren't the first band up. We went on right before they went on, and so we had a full house for this show. And like after one song, I looked over and he's sitting, stage side watching us play. And I just, my heart filled with just like that's a good dude. He sits there for the openers. He knows their names. He's just fantastic.
Take the time to see my face. Meet me at our favorite place. Friendship is a line that goes two ways. Behind the message board is where you'll stay. I'm coming away with nothing that I don't already know.
That band, the opening band or whatever, and just making friends, and then going and having crappy food at Denny's, afterwards, because it's the only place that's open.
That 2 a.m. Denny's run is always good. I don't care what people say. A $4 Grand Slam at 2 in the morning is gourmet. I love it. But like, it's weird because you talk about the camaraderie, and you get like this, I don't want to say different, but it's just like a weird vibe from certain people. Like we opened for one band from Sweden or Finland, I forget. They're called Smash Into Pieces, and the best way I can describe it is Swedish Nickelback, which isn't a knock. Like, I think I actually do enjoy some Nickelback songs,
Okay.
but that was the kind of style. Is like, all right, it's kind of formulaic, but it's really good. They were really awesome, and their stage presence was great. We opened for them, but another band that opened for them, I forget what, I think they changed their name like 2 or 3 times. I forget what they were called. But the basis for that, who was their lead singer, he just kind of had this attitude to himself, like, I'm going to make it. I'm going to be a star. And it was, everybody else, that show was super, super nice. The headliners, those guys were super nice, but he just was kind of like, I don't necessarily appreciate him. And then we ended up opening for them at the Boardwalk one time. And,
Nice.
and it was one of those things where he was like, he kind of turned it up a little bit, like, this is our show. People are coming out to see us. And he had the Tommy Lee like headset mic.
Yeah.
And everybody else just had like their own stand mic. And I'm like, if this dude does like the spinning drums, but he's on his bass just upside down, like if he does the floating across the crowd like Pink does, or just some like Carlos Santana thing on the bass, yeah, okay. Cool, dude. You're playing for 50 people in Citrus Heights. Let's get over yourself.
I want to make it memorable, man.
Yeah, they're gonna remember me. Fair credit to him. He's made a pretty good career of it with his music. He's okay. I think he lives down in LA now. He's played the Whiskey a couple of times, but it's, hey, good for him. But it's just, you remember your first impressions.
Yeah. I remember the old shows where I think my old punk band Unchained, we played like, I mean, you're kind of like not a punk band and if you don't play like a venue where it's got like 5 people. And one of them's your girlfriend, and then
one's your mom, one's your girlfriend, and the 3 people who are there for the Pabst and the Jameson.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it was one of those things where it's like, even though it's only 5 people, you just kind of put on the best show you can, and you rock the world as much as you can.
Sure.
And whatever happens. But it is discouraging, but at the same time it's kind of fun too, because then you go to the next show with a different attitude. You appreciate the bigger crowds, you appreciate the sort of game of it in a way.
And that was one of our things. We always said we were going to be way too nice at any of the shows. It doesn't matter what you did before the show or what you're doing after. Anybody comes up to you and says like, hey, I really liked it, just be over nice, talk to them, create that sort of like, man, their music may or may not have been, good or bad, wherever you may think it was, but I'll be damned I didn't like you who you were as a person.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, I keep going back to the Ace of Spades show because was the dream. I was the rock star that night. People are coming up to our merch table and they're making me, sign CDs of mine that they've bought, and they're signing shirts that we made. And
Yeah.
if they knew that I was going to go home to my, $650 studio that I'm renting, sharing it with my girlfriend that I just met, like, I'm not on tour. True enough. So we played that Ace show, and there's this couple that was about our age who was from San Jose, and they thought we were a bigger deal than we let on. But they were like, the one dude was like trying to get my hat. I was wearing just like a soccer team hat, and I was like, it's just a sweaty hat. Like, I'm not going to give you my fucking hat, dude.
Yeah, right?
Buy a shirt.
Yeah, I know, right? That's clean.
It's fresh. I gave him a sticker and I signed CDs that they both added me on Facebook, and then like his girlfriend was messaging me like, you guys are super awesome, you're cute, and I'm just like, this is weird now.
Yeah, that's the part that a lot of people, I think, always overlook, especially nowadays, is the hard work that people put into an EP or even just one song. And again, and even the artwork for your merch or even online, it really is a big, huge, no one ever thought, like, so one of the guys, the lead singer of He Is Legend, a couple years ago, he said, there's almost no money in doing music anymore. You have to be a merch store. You have to be a clothing line. That's what he said. I'm sorry. You have to be a clothing line. Yeah. So you're going to have to, as far as if you want to make any money, as far as that goes, that's pretty much out the window. So, but at the same time, as appealing as that sounds in the big scheme of thing, like, oh, someone wearing our shirt or someone buying our CDs, you don't really realize how much goes into it and how much decision it goes, especially if you're independent.
Sure.
That's all you. But if you're doing it for the love of music, like you guys were doing it for the love, to say you had something, that's something that they won't understand. That's for you. Like for Aaron and I, when we released our first full length, it felt good to be like, we did that. That took 2 years to do.
Yeah.
And it took a weekend for everybody to forget.
Yeah. It's such an instant gratification world right now where it's cool. I'm going to give you 5 minutes of my time listening to this. And they're not going to listen to, like, I get mad at a buddy of mine who listens to albums on shuffle. Like a new album. Like if you already know the album, you've heard the songs, play what you want. But he listened on shuffle. Is it like albums? These guys are putting so much work into their music. Sometimes they tell a story.
Yep.
And
exactly.
you gotta hear it the first time. But people, they'll give you 5 minutes of their time. They'll listen to 30 seconds of each song. Like, oh no, I really like that first one that you did. Cool. What did you like about it? I was like, oh, it sounded good. And I'm like, there's your fucking cop out. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks. Yeah, it sounded good. All right, you didn't listen. Thanks, man.
No, but that's so hard, man. It's hard, and I'm, at times I'm guilty as well, but at the same time, I do realize, being a musician, I'm sure you do as well, and just go, no, I'm going to give this a time of day, and whether it takes me, a good chunk of my time, or I finish it throughout the day, I'm going to give it my all and my complete attention, and I'm going to be invested in their world, what they've produced and given to the world,
Exactly. And that's why we always said we're doing it for the love of the music, of the work, and we're going to take it as far as this takes us. And it took us to a sold out show, 1,200 people. And I remember walking off stage and going, if that is the last show I ever play, I'm stoked. Everything played well. The big one for us, we got to bring that last show at Ace. We got to bring a friend of ours from that original like little jam group that we had our sophomore year.
Okay.
He was living down in LA. He had flown up. He was going to be in town for the weekend that we were playing. And I said, here, let's teach you River City. And one of the songs that we always jammed with was Should I Stay or Should I Go by The Clash. And I said, you still remember it because you were playing in high school and you always played it perfectly. We're going to play that song. So that's one of our covers. And he was like, are you sure you want me up there? I'm like, dude, I want you up there with us. I want to give you that moment. If we're going to be rock stars, this story doesn't exist without you. So we brought him on stage, and my girlfriend at the time, now my wife, she was watching him on the side of the stage before we brought him up, and he is tearing circles in the floor, pacing back and forth. We bring him up stage, and he just kind of like slides his way on, hey, how's it going? And he got this roar of applause. he strings the first couple chords together. We get into it, and I've always said, and like this is more a lesson about life. It's not how much you give or what you do in life. It's how you make people feel.
Mhm.
And after the show, like he kept thanking me, like, dude, that was amazing. That was just such a cool experience. And it's something he will always remember.
Yeah.
And it was just, what did it cost us? Nothing.
Yeah.
We got to play all the same songs we did. And I got to give him the experience of a rock star. People are coming up asking for his autograph. People want to take photos with him. People are buying
Love
shirts and CDs. Like he's part of this band. And it was a great night. And every photo we took, he's beaming from ear to ear. And he's like, dude, if I can ever repay you that. And I said, hey, if we ever play another show like that, come on, we'll play the same song. And it, unfortunately, we only played like one or two other times after that. But you know, if ever given the opportunity, because he still lives in LA, but if ever given the opportunity, he's got like the open invite.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I know you said before we go back into to like how you got into radio and whatnot. Do you feel, because you said you're kind of at a different place now, if you were to start a band again, how would you do your style now?
My favorite artist of all time is, at least, okay, my favorite songwriter of all time is Tom Petty. I'm a huge fan of Tom Petty.
Good.
And if I had to go back and start it, well, if I was going to start something now, I would do more than a 3-piece, because we were just a 3-piece punk band. I would want at least a 5, maybe a 6-piece, but do more songs. It's Tom Petty, just songwrite beautiful songs. It's not like this fast-paced, you know, punk stuff. Maybe a little bit slower, more intricate, developed music. I've been really into his Mudcrutch stuff, and one of the songs is called "Scare Easy," and it talks about, you know, that feeling of getting into a relationship again at an elder age. And granted, I just got married, but like one of the songs, my wife walked down the aisle to "The Waiting" by Tom Petty.
Yeah.
And you know, you take it on faith, you take it to the heart, but the waiting's the hardest part. And it talks about how great the relationship is. I've waited my whole life to meet you. And that was, you know, it's one of those things that, like, it's funny how I became a Tom Petty fan. My dad actually showed me his Pack Up the Plantation tour album. He had the CD, and I ended up stealing that from his Jeep and listening to it from overuse.
Good still.
Still great. Now, he and I don't have a fantastic relationship, but I'll always thank him for, you know, showing me some of the older rock music.
Yeah.
Yeah, if I had to do music again, I'd do, you know, bigger stuff, more people involved. Because, yeah, with 3 people, it was easier to bounce ideas off each other.
Yeah, absolutely.
And majority rule, well, 2 of us want to do this, you don't, we're going to do this.
Yeah.
But I think we're at a different point in both musically and just maturity wise. That, all right, we made music to say we were going to do it, and we were kind of following the idea that we did in high school. We're going to do that music. But now I think I'd be more open to more modern ideas with music, a little bit more fuller of a sound. I really like Cage the Elephant.
Oh, okay.
Their first album I was a really big fan of. I love Arctic Monkeys.
Monkeys are good, yeah.
I love the Arctic Monkeys, and everyone always gives me crap because they're like, "Oh, you probably like those first couple albums where it was like that punk sound." I'm like, "Yeah, you're absolutely fucking right. Of course I do." But I also love, you know, Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino. I like the progression of, you know, what they do musically. You know, but I think I would always have that sort of, you know, California punk sound, like, influence.
Yeah.
Maybe just lyrically. I don't know. I've never really thought about, like, what happens if I get back into music. I just, to quote our song, it is what it is.
Yeah. You got to still be playing, just messing around on your bass and stuff, right? Do you still continue making songs?
I do. Well, I don't. It's so tough timing wise now. It's. I mean, there's never enough hours in the day. How many times have you heard that in life? But
yeah,
it's, you know, it's tough now. I keep my bass here in my little office. I've got, you know, TV here, and I like to I try to learn a new song at least a week. Just pick up. I try. I try. I don't often succeed, but I give myself the opportunity to.
Okay.
especially, and I had admittedly fallen into a rut before Dan had made me the guitar, but once he did, I was like, all right, I really got to get into it. And it's so easy for me to hop into the same, like, all right, here's this chord, here's this chord, here's this chord, here's this chord. But I'm trying to do more, rolling into stuff and like,
Yes.
and I'm just trying to be different. I don't want to I crave leisure, to quote the radio show I work on. I'm a man that craves leisure, but I'm trying to kick that. I'm trying to become uncomfortable with what I'm doing till I get comfortable. That makes
Yes.
sense.
No, absolutely. Well, it's hard because I'm sure you get that. Yeah, exactly. Where as a guitarist, I've always taught myself, and I think it was always such a weird thing to get to a point where I'm 43 now, and I have picked up such habits along the way in guitar playing, and I feel stuck. And I do like I'm on the same keys, I'm doing the same chord progressions, I'm doing similar strums and stuff, and sometimes it takes it. I go, okay, let's listen to something that's not this genre because I'm always listening to like emo or I'm going or then I'll switch over to super like deathcore music, and then sometimes I go to like old school rock that just old school rock you're talking like Tom Petty, and then sometimes I'll go like the stuff that I grew up on like Sunny Day Real Estate. So it's just a big mixture of different things I try to get myself out of and go, okay, play this, play that, do this timing, do this timing, do this chord is minor. It doesn't always have to be a major chord. We all love music, so why not expand our horizons a little bit of being better at what we love to do, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it's like my buddy Spencer is I hesitate to call him the lead singer. He plays in like a deathcore band. It's called Salt Wound, and they've been killing it. They're actually going on a Canadian tour here pretty
Nice.
soon. But they played with a lot of big bands, some big festivals. Um, but he's like the growler, singer, screamer, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But he also sang in an opera like performance, a couple opera performances, and he's got beautiful voice. And I'm friends with his mom and his stepdad, and I kind of was like, really? I don't see, because he's got the big gauges and the tattoos, like,
Yeah.
but he has a beautiful voice. And his mom always kind of riffs him, like, how, can you talk to him, get him to sing, stuff that sounds good like yours? And I'm like, I like his stuff. I like his, these guys fucking rip. So sorry, mom, it's not working for you. But and she's the most supportive too. I went and saw a band he was in previously, and same sort of genre, this killer be fucking killed music, to quote the band Spite. But she was out there too, just kind of hugging the wall with me. And I'm like, if this woman hops into the pit, I will have the utmost respect. If she just takes a fucking boot to the face.
Oh, really?
No, if she did.
If she did.
There was 3 guys in the pit, and one dude was like 6'10" and just a brick shit house.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, oh, I'm not going in there. I despise pits for that reason. I'm a big dude. I'm 6'4". I'm all of,
You're 6'4"?
I'm 6'4". Yeah, I'm a big dude. My first radio nickname was Intern Hodor, from the character from Game of Thrones. So I'm just this tall, just impressive, big fat dude. And I go into pits and people go, oh, target practice. And like want to run and jump off of me like a bounce house. So I will sit on the outside and just keep you moving, push you back in. If you get hurt, I'll pick you up, but I don't run in the pits anymore.
Oh man, if I saw a guy like you in the pit, I'd be like, I want to live. I'm going back.
I choose life. Yeah.
No, you're fine.
Oh boy.
What did you do? Okay.
Fuck if I know.
Well, no, all I was gonna say was, was one of the best things that I did was a couple weeks ago, or I think it was last month actually. I had this thing where I needed a break from everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I took just a little over a week off of like social media. I think I just did some posts of my talk, but I posted it and then I was done. That kind of thing, just to promote it, and that was it.
Sure.
And you know what? Not checking I turned off all my notifications. It's like the thing that who's that guy? The speaker, Dave Rubin does like every August or something. He does like a blackould August or something like that. Just nothing. But I just did it for a week, and let me tell you, man, that was some of the most like I could think I had clarity. I realized, the air I was breathing, was just so refreshing, and just coming home and it really just kind of being aware of my surroundings again, and not just this screen and that screen and that screen, and
Hmm.
just constantly embedding myself with that stuff.
I just got married in Mexico. We took a week off. We went down to Mexico and we did like the honeymoon and the marriage at the same time. Super small ceremony, but the days leading up, it was like an all-inclusive resort. And I'm sitting there in the pool with a swim up bar. I'm drinking pina coladas. It's a beautiful day outside. The water's, washing on the beach. I'm in a pool next to it. There's people walking around. The music's playing, and I just took a deep breath and I realized there's no Hunter Biden's laptop. No, there's
Yeah,
no gas prices.
yeah,
There's no NRA. There's no GOP. There's no Democrats. There's no liberals. There's no conservatives. There's a beach.
yeah,
There's music that I enjoy. I'm there with people that I love.
yeah.
I'm at 100% at peace, and I think I finally just kind of decompressed because I'm the type of guy who will check his emails at work. Oh, like at home, I will check my emails on the beach. And I was gone for a week, and I just wanted to keep up to date. Maybe someone needs me, and it was that point I turned it off and I just threw it. Don't need this, you know. Bring another shot of tequila. I'm good, and I'm not a drinker. Like I don't really drink. I don't smoke. I don't do, I don't have substance abuse. I mean, I'm a big dude. I like food. I like sugary drinks, but that's my vice.
Yeah.
So but I don't, find escapes through substances. I find escapes through like people and experiences.
Yeah.
I am the guy that will try anything once. So that was when I turned off the phone in Mexico. It was like, all right, how often am I going to be, shirtless on the beach in Mexico getting married?
Yeah, exactly.
Be present, be here.
Yeah, exactly.
And you live for experiences. I'm the type of guy, spur of the moment. Let's go to a baseball game. Let's go see a show downtown. Let's go to a movie. Let's go get some dinner. Let's go eat sushi. Let's go try something new.
Yeah.
Because that's what's going to keep you sane. Instead of focusing on the doom and gloom news cycle, whatever you may follow, whatever side of the aisle you lay on, go out and do something different.
Yeah, you have to. Because
otherwise it's just going to divide you. You're just going to be mad at anybody that disagrees with you. I would rather listen to someone who, I think I disagree with most people most of the time.
Yeah.
The Tom Petty lyric, "A rebel without a clue," is me. I rebel against everything, and I don't have a fucking clue about most of the stuff going on.
Yeah.
But you got to make time for your mentals.
Yeah, you have to. I wish more people would take that time. I mean, I'm even thinking about it now because I'm realizing I still have a lot on my plate. I'm going, no, I have a band, I have my solo stuff, I have this, but even this too, with all these other two things and my home life, I need to get a balance here. So I'm like rethinking how to do this and how to do the band and stuff. So, but yeah, it's because life is so chaotic. Prioritizing things and still enjoying life and not just embedding constant feed of, well, even it doesn't have to be news, just you don't have to have constant noise in your ears, you don't have to constantly have the screen in your face, all that kind of stuff.
I mean, I know money is such a big thing on people's minds right now with the way the economy is and gas prices, and that is such a mind suck for a lot of people. A lot of people are just going to focus on that, and then they're going to see the news cycle, and then they may or may not have something going on at home with their kids or their partners or their pets or their cars, and just that's, I think, why I'm the way I am. I am the person, stranger comes up to you, "Hey, how are you?" "Oh, I'm great. How are you?" And I will spark a conversation with most anybody because you don't know what they're going through. I know people who are just going through tremendous shit, and they're still the most positive person, and I love talking to them because they're going to exude positivity, and I try to be the positive beacon for other people. It doesn't always work. You're not going to force people to be happy, but you're there for them for that. And it's just, I think here's my one political stance. I think we as a country need to get away from picking sides, get away from this, I'm conservative, I'm liberal, I'm this. I'm an American, and you're an American, and you're on my team. We may have our differences, but I support you.
Mm-hmm.
And we're just super divisive. We're in a divided society right now. And I hate to be, the peace, love, flowers guy, the Woodstock guy, but maybe we need another Woodstock. Let's bring people together for music. Let's bring together just a big pit of love. And let's see what happens politically.
Yeah. And, you know, and honestly, right now, if you look online, there's a crap load of fests, you know,
Mhm.
and stuff like that. And you know, and I think that's amazing because when you see a lot of these people at the fests and stuff, they're there for the music. They're there for, they enjoy each other, enjoy the time, enjoy the bands, enjoying them, just all of it,
Mhm.
the experience.
Absolutely.
And I think, yeah, and I think if we do that more often, because this obviously we've been pent up for 2 years or whatever,
Hey,
and
that's played a
then
factor. Yeah.
so it's good to see that it's just bombarded right now with the shows with everybody, and it's good because we need that, and
Mhm.
other creatives need that as well. So it'd be cool to
Absolutely.
see. Yeah, it'd be cool to see if this keeps going. That something really, really positive will continue to um, be the snowball in a good way. You know what I'm saying?
Something's going to change in the world. May not be soon. It may not be in the next month, but something will snap in this country where we're going to be tired of the divisiveness. We're going to be tired of picking sides. We're going to be tired of trying to get one up on the other person. We're going to have to lend it out a hand some point. I don't know when that's going to be, but I'm here. I'll lead the charge, and I'll do it every day until somebody, until the rest of the world follows along.
Yeah, I like that. I like that. Okay. Well, cool, man. Wow, we get it. 5 more minutes, just under the second segment. Well,
Now,
cool, man.
what type of underwear does Jack wear? I don't know.
No, but if I could fit this in there, so and I guess I should have done this way at the beginning. But I emailed so Armstrong and Getty for those who don't know, they have a segment at the very end called Final Thoughts, which Alex talked about, and so they'll take listener suggestions and quirky little things that they do at the very end. And I decided to do like some of the others. I did like sort of a music part for A&G, and I sent it to him, and he liked it, and he put it on the show, and Armstrong and Getty both liked it as well. And in fact, you played it today.
We did.
I did
We
notice.
did. It wasn't my choice. I think Michelangelo was the one that played it, but it's one of my favorite ones. I love. We have like a weird like Genghis Khan like sort of like weird metal one that's kind of haunting. We have one that sounds like an Asian massage parlor that's kind of weird. They had somebody who did one to the Soviet national anthem last week.
Yeah, I remember hearing that one.
That was incredible. That was absolutely incredible. And I got shouted out in it. I was like, let's go. I was the news. I was like, yeah, like I got one. You like me. You really like me.
Yeah, right.
I hope it was the same guy who wrote like "You suck, you bring back Sean."
Yeah.
I hope it was the same guy that like made it. Like, all right, he's been here for a while. Let's give him his shakedown.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you for giving me a chance. I know you
thanks
get
for
a lot of
submitting it.
submissions, so
No, yours stood out. It was because it was different than anything anyone else was doing, and sounds good.
yeah.
And it sounds like the music I listen to. So front of the line, man.
Well, honestly, I was gonna send you the actual, because I know Jack, or I can't remember if it was Joe or Jack, said they wanted to hear the whole thing. It was literally just a song idea that was in segments, and I chose that segment for that part of it to send you. So I'm like, if I send it to you, it wouldn't make sense, and it'd sound kind of horrible.
Yeah, no, we really like it. I'm glad we have it in the rotation.
Well, cool, because I'm gonna come up with another one for you guys, and I'm just uncertain.
Oh boy, no
If you guys
Stairway.
will
Don't
like
do
it.
Stairway to Heaven. They'll love it. I'll tell you this, Joe Getty. If you did it somehow to YYZ by Rush, it'll be played every day.
Oh, I'm not talented. I'm not
Me
that
neither.
talented.
Me neither. Me neither. But if someone did it every day, we'd play it every day.
There you go. Hopefully, this will get out to someone who can do that.
Knock on my door back there. There it is. Knock on that. Thank you so much, man.
All right, man. Have a good night.
Hey, you too.
All right, brother. Bye.
Take care.